Good evening. This is the pre-show. I'm testing camera setup before we go live. I mean, we are live, but we're scheduled for 8 o'clock, so hang on to the horses that are yours. For I am Sister Boonity, but the show has not begun. The horror of being too early! You will rot in hell from this scene. 3 minutes till showtime. If you are here early, you are lucky. If you are watching the playback, because I save to YouTube tomorrow, hey, good for you. You see whole thing. Native American. And yet, this one grown in Japan. The mysteries of life. But I will reveal to you tonight the mysteries of death. Never mind for the, well, I will wait to say the funny things when the show she has started. It is not started yet. The glitter of Sister Boonity is getting in the mouth of Sister Boonity. Two more minutes! Los Angeles air. Can I see better? Oh, I can see much better doing this. Yeah, 2 minutes. Anyone watching? No one is watching me! I did all of this for shit all. Oh, no, one person. Hello, welcome to the live broadcast of Sister Boonity with the filthy glasses. This is the pre-show, so lucky you come to pre-show. We start the show at 8, like said on flyer that spent many hours making, and yet only you are here. Need better PR department. Maybe if I was not dead under the ground 6 feet for the rest of the year, I could work on marketing better. It is thought. 7:59. The witching hour is still 4 hours and a minute away, but the Sister Boonity hour is a minute away. Boo. So to pass the time until show starts, I will do a thing I don't usually do on broadcast. Sing. I've been working. Hang on. Time. Does time exist in the minds of the gods? No, it does not. It is invention of human beings, except in the mind of one god, the god of time. That was stupidly obvious. You failed test. Time has come. Oh, and audience has left. Was not fan, was Lucky Louis to his parents. The time is here. The stream is on. I wait for you, the audience, to gather around the proverbial campfire where we tell the stories of life and death. I say that like death is scary. Death is so much better than life, really. There's free cake. Welcome to person watching, single mortal soul. While we wait for others, for me to begin telling stories, perhaps you would like me, because I am drag artist. Perhaps to you, I should groom. The evil of grooming. Boo, boo. Now you are gay. Boo. Abracadabra, I make you transgender. Poof! His joke. Oh, I scared them away. Audience member now gone. Some people cannot tolerate the sexuality that is homo. Tonight, the stories, most of them, will be about real life horror. And don't worry, I'm not going to be talking about destruction of East Wing. Will you pardon for a moment? Undead whistle needs to be wet. So I will drink my blood juice. Oh, hard to see. Maybe if I contrast with, but there you see, ruby red blood juice. Sister Boonity should have put ice cube in blood, but because it's not very tasty warm on hot night. But you know, problem with ice cube in blood is blood coagulates, and then you have pudding when you wanted refreshing beverage. This is a horror story, culinary horror story. Two people are watching Sister Boonity. I have succeeded in attracting more people than just myself. Welcome to All Hallows Eve. You know, it's kind of a religious name for the thing. Does everything have to be owned by Christians? Nice people, but does everything have to? Maybe we make our own name. Spooky Night. How about really awful in? How about now I'm old, I will stay home and wash my hair in? Because no one gives me candy anymore. I'm already old and fat. Sister Boonity, one of you has fled in terror of Sister Boonity. This is like my job too. Online marketing, declining markets. That's a horror story. But remember, tonight's broadcast is completely free, so you don't need Snap benefit card to watch Sister Boonity. Sorry to say. There is first horror story of the night. Real life is much more scary than anything that I will tell you. But now, let us kick off the evening by doing what all storytellers must do. Bring the light. I've been working on the railroad all live long day. I working on the railroad just to pass time away, because of course Sister Unity is undead and therefore has no need for income. So what the hell am I going to do with billions of dollars? I don't need to work. Can't you hear whistle blowing? Rise up so early in the morning. Just kidding, I'm undead. I get up at night. Can't you hear Captain calling? Sister Boonity, I want your head. I changed lyrics of song. Sister Unity is wearing Dior. You like? Sister Boonity is wearing the skulls of every hamster she has ever owned. Just kidding. It is skulls of lovers. I shrink and then boil in acid. Listen, I didn't marry them. Why should I leave their flesh on their bones? It's simple equation. Girls, I'm telling you, this is solution to bad boyfriends. Everyone needs hobby. Look at that. I light candles, doesn't even show up on camera. I'm telling you, it is a cordial. This is problem with modern day video programming, is the ring lights are so bright that you can't even tell I have nose. You can tell that candles are lit. At least you can see Native American vegetable item. Think. Here is horror story number 2 for you. How many people in the world eat the food that was taken from the Americas. What would they eat in India without potatoes, without tomatoes, without chilies? What would they eat in Sichuan, Thailand, without chilies? They come from nearby here, southern Arizona, northern Mexico, chilies. Marco Polo brought the pasta from China back to Italy, they say. But what would he put it in without the tomato from the indigenous people of the Americas? Eh? Ireland, potato famine, so associated with this vegetable, this tuber, this country symbol. Gay community says if you like pasty white guys, you're a potato queen. Potato comes from Peru, where they have hundreds and hundreds of varieties. Some of them are purple! Ha ha ha! But now national symbol of foreign country. Likewise, you think my pumpkin is cute? Why did you not carve your pumpkin, Sister Bunity? I tell you, because it's not pumpkin. It is a squash! Ha ha! Ha ha ha! And it was grown in Japan! Konnichiwa! Ha 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 ha! Domo arigatou gozaimasu. Time does not exist. It is a human invention. That is why I ramble on for hours, saying nothing really special. International boundaries don't really exist. What exists are like mushrooms that grow on tree in forest. The mushrooms in my metaphor are language, culture, clothing. It is true there are racial differences. But as geneticists tell us, we're all the same people. The differences are minuscule, less than 10% of your DNA. Less, what is it, 1% or less of your DNA makes you different racially from black people, white people, Asian people, Native American people. All of these are superficial differences, but like time, we human, well, I'm not a human being now, but I was once, several thousands of years ago. I was there when they wrote the Rig Veda. I kept telling them, it will never sell if you don't add pictures. Did they listen? No. Have you bought a copy of the Rig Veda? My point is made. Bible? They had pictures. They put them on buildings. Everywhere, these pictures. Bible, top seller. Even you know who and the White House sells it. Marketing, ladies and gentlemen. Marketing is not scary. It is profitable. So like we invent time, we invent race, we invent nationality, because the mind wants to know. The basis of all the horror in the world is the mind deciding what it thinks it knows. Why does the mind do this? Because the mind is freaking out about the day that the mind will no longer be what it thinks it is. Now listen to Sister Bunity's words. I am not saying the mind will cease to exist. Clearly the spirits continue. What is spirit? Well, Christians believe it is soul, whatever that is. Wispy energy that plays harp. I don't know. That goes up or down. It plays harp or it gets toasty like marshmallow. Hindus believe that is pearl of energy made of same conscious energy that has made universe, but individuated because it is shaped by karmic impression, samskaras. Like the light, the pure light of a light bulb is shaped in a movie projector by the film that is attached to the front of it. So you carry with you the film, life to life to life. This is what the Hindus believe the soul is. It has levels, they think. The soul going body to body to body, person to person to person, life to life to life. Somewhere it was all one thing. It was all Shiva or Vishnu or Krishna. It depends which book you read. And he got bored. He got terribly bored. And he decided to become freaking everything. Chipmunks, hamsters, tampons, everything. But, story number 3, but everything knew that it was Shiva. So it went, oh, what am I doing here being hamster when I'm in Shiva? I am huge god with really long hair and kind of huge penis. Lingam, Hinduism, you read. And it went spoop, back into being Shiva. And Shiva thought to himself, well, here I am, everything again, but just me. How dull. I said, you know what I've got to do? I have got to become everything again. It's Halloween, so let's Halloween this. I've got to become everything again, like vampire bats and jack-o'-lanterns and Charleston Chew and $100,000 bar in plastic pumpkin held by child. But, so I don't pop back to me, I have to hide the knowledge that it is me playing in a mask, doing universal cosplay as everything. So Shiva, he thought, okay, where do I hide knowledge that I am me in everything that I become? Especially the pomegranates, they're very smart. They figure it out like that. Well, he's thinking this when a fish comes up to him. Now, I know this is weird because Shiva is everything that was and then pop back into just being him, which is absolute oneness. So how is there fish? If you ask logical questions in a mythological horror story, you're not going to get much far in story. So Sister Bunity's advice is, shh. We call this in the performing arts willful suspension of disbelief. So fish comes to Shiva and says, give me this key. I don't know why it is a key now. It's a piece of knowledge or awareness, but it's an idea. But okay, everything is metaphor in mythology. It is now key. Give me key. I will swim to bottom of ocean where mankind will never go because it's so deep, crashing wet. I mean, I will probably die because I'm surface fish, but maybe I can transform into like one of those things with the giant wiggly woo and the big teeth. And the... Why is there ocean when the Shiva's just sitting there and he is everything? But don't ask the question. Shiva looks at fish and says, clever, clever, but no. With third eye, I see into future, and human beings, they are busybodies, always getting bee inside of bonnet. This is not bonnet, so I am safe from bee. Thank you. They will get to bottom of ocean. I can see now, 5,000 years from now, someone going to invent body scope. Then later, there will be a really rich guy who will found own company to build his own body scope, and he will sort of wag his dick in people's faces and get them to pay millions of dollars to go inside his body scope, and they will all die deep under the ocean near sunken boat. But Shiva's right. Human beings, they will go to the bottom of the ocean. So then next comes eagle. Eagle, giant bird, is no hair, beak, eats fish, symbol of United States, Russia, Austro-Hungarian Empire, 2 heads, Germany at some point, not at another point. Eagle, yes, okay, flies. Bird. Eagle comes to Shiva and says, Shiva, give key of knowledge that it is all you to me. I will fly into the highest skies, above the clouds. I will go where almost the space shuttle can go. Shiva says, clever idea, because you see people walking around on ground in sandals. But I'm telling you right here, right now, human beings with bee in bonnet going to invent machines that will take them up even higher than you can fly, Eagle. And on the way passing, they reach out window and snatch key, I'm telling you. So what to do? What to do? Mole. You know Mole? Mole comes to Shiva. Mole. Like character in British book that little people read. Mole. Friend of Ratty and Mr. Todd. Mole. Sister Bonity used to have one on left boob. Sometimes they grow hairs. Sometimes you get cut out if they are dark brown and they grow. Mole. But the animal, mole, like this. Mole. Mole come to Shiva, says, give key to me. I burrow under the earth deep, so deep, no one finds key. Human beings, they dig deep enough to plant rutabaga. No, they will never find key. But Shiva has third eye, very smart. He says everything. He says to Mole, human beings, they're going to dig big holes in ground. They're going to make big machines, like giant worm with metal teeth that goes and dig underground. Then they put vehicles and they go through tunnel underground like giant metal worms. Only they say they're going to do it by 2023, but it will not happen until after 2025 or later. And then they will say that they're going to have giant metal worms dig new holes. And it will be so great in time for huge games with people from all over the world coming for this. And they say, we dig them the holes in time for this, but it will not be in time for that. And everyone will be spending hundreds of dollars on Uber. I digress. Shiva sees all this, the moral disappointed goes away. At this moment, one of oldest animals on the face of this earth that does not yet exist because Shiva became it all just him back to him again. So I don't know why there's an earth, but old wise animal, tortoise. Tortoise, French word tortoise. Tortoise walks very slowly up to Shiva. You know, slowly, you know, story of tortoise and rabbit. I'm not telling this story tonight. It is not scary story unless you are rabbit or have placed bet on rabbit. Then horror story for you. Tortoise comes up to Shiva and he looks up at Shiva and Shiva looks down at Tortoise and nods. And Tortoise, without saying word, draws inside of shell and does not come out. What you see inside the little hole in the shell, one little eye looking up at Shiva. Yeah, did he get it? And Shiva says to himself, "I, clever tortoise, most wise of animals, you have told me where to put the key. Well, no human being will think to look for it. It will be hidden right under their nose, literally, because the place to put the key to the knowledge that everything is Shiva, the place no one will think to look, is inside the human heart. That is where Shiva hid the key. And very few human beings out of the billions of human beings that have existed have thought to go looking there. Sister Bunity is dead, so I cannot go and look. That other person who exists the other 364 days of the year, she looks there regularly. She has not found the key so she can hold it, but she's seen it glimmer in the dark. She knows it's there. I know this because she holds seances, talks to me frequently, asks me to come once a year. Now I get one day, she gets 364. You think there's a pay scale? She doesn't pay me diddly squat. We will have more refreshment. That was story number 3 of the evening. I will drink some blood to refresh myself. Notice the color in the straw of the blood as it passes by my chin. Yum. Type O. You know why I say it is type O without testing the blood? Because the person I took it from, they said, "Oh," when I took it. Vampire joke. Yeah, I wish I was vampire. Much higher pay scale, red. I am garden variety undead. Am I zombie? No. Do I look like I am rotten? No, it's just bad makeup. I did, however, kill a drag queen. And you can see because I pulled off her false eyelash. I killed the drag queen and I coagulated her blood into crystals. Would you like a bloody crystal? It is a ruby made from the blood of a drag queen. I see you shudder. Clearly you do not know where sequins come from. Sequins are made from scraping the back of the eyeball of a drag queen and then polishing it for weeks until it shines. That is how they make sequins. Scary item number 2. It is a bat! Look out! It will drink your blood! Ah! $3.59 at Walmart. Just kidding. Sister Boonity does not shop at Walmart because they are rich bastards trying to put all of these small businesses out of business, and they don't pay their workers. The workers need to eat food stamps. Ha! Because they pay them so little. I would not be caught dead. I would not be caught undead in Walmart. Ha 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 ha! Next story comes from internet. Feel free to write comment in YouTube window. I'm not sure I know where to find comment, but yes, I think comments are here. So if you type comment, I will see comment. And maybe talk about what thing you wrote, and then you feel like you're famous. Ghost story from internet. The bizarre true story of Jeff, the talking mongoose. No, I shit you not. It's what it says here. I don't know where I found it, but here it is. Jeff. I read you about Jeff, talking mongoose. You know, glasses and Sister Boonity eyelashes, bad combination. Very difficult. Oh, thank you for pictures of Ghost and Jack-o'-lantern. Adrienne. Very scary dragman. The bizarre true story of Jeff, the talking mongoose. Sometime around 1933, 2 teenage cousins, don't get confused by numbers, Harry Hall and Will Cuban, C-U-B-B-O-N, Cuban. I am Slavic, what? Paid visit to a new friend of theirs named Jeff. Now, Jeff is spelled G-A-F. Now, I know J-E-F-F. When I was alive, I was related to someone with this name. And I know J-E-O-F-F, the place with the people with bad teeth who eat rotting meat. They have that name. This is just G-E-F, maybe from Morocco, who knows. Jeff lived in a remote, windswept farmhouse on Isle of Man. Ooh, this might be a good place for me to go to drink blood. I mean, if it's Isle of Man, they've got to have a lot of men. I can drink blood or other bodily secretions. Eyelash gets in the way. I think maybe we go under eyelash. There we are. Much better. He lives on this place, Isle of Man, off coast of England. That's why name is spelled weird. He was very, very shy, and the cousins could hear and talk to him, but they never saw their new friend, never saw him. From behind a wall, Jeff would guess heads or tails when a coin was flipped, or play catch with a rubber ball through a hole in an attic ceiling. Jeff needs to talk to Carl Jung. Definitely there is drama going on with Jeff. But soon, what is your name? Ichabod. Sorry, I thought his name was Jeff, but when he was alive, it was not. It was Ichabod. But soon, Jeff began misbehaving, spitting and threatening the boys that he would wet on their head. Boy, I knew it was going to be a horror story. I didn't know this bad. I think it's euphemism because internet not uses right word. Wet on head means Jeff was going to pee on them. Ha ha! Sister Bunity tells it like it is. Jeff, it turns out, was no normal boy. Well, clearly he's going to pee on their head. He's not a normal boy. He's a leather sub-bottom from Silver Lake into water sports. It is clear. What is problem? Tell Jeff to move to Berlin or Chicago or Los Angeles. Happily ever after. End of story. He was, oh, no, sorry, I got it wrong. Jeff was no normal boy. He was a poltergeist. But you think that is weird? Wait, it gets weirder. He was a poltergeist in the form of a talking mongoose. Well, it's not a big surprise. I told you the title of the story is The Bizarre Story of Jeff, the Talking Mongoose. Dorish Cashin, British names. The farmhouse, oh, it's the name of the house. They give houses names in England. It's silly. You know, it's confusing because you think it is a person because it has name. You get there expecting to drink blood, but it is a house. I cannot drink blood from a house because house does not have blood. It may have people inside who have blood, but if it is just a house, you try sinking your fangs into a 2x4. All you get is like traces of pine resin. The farmhouse where Jeff resided was in many ways this stereotypical haunted house. It was ancient farmstead on a notoriously fairy field, desolate isle. Okay, we all know Sister Bunity is rampant homosexual. So we are thinking that Sister Bunity needs to go to fairy field, desolate island. If I don't drink blood, maybe I can get other bodily secretions. No? No. Yes. Situated some 725 feet above sea level in the cold grey waters between England and Ireland. 725 feet is it seems like a lot, but global warming, cut that in half, you don't know. Jeff's going to fall into ocean. Page 2. Fascinated Irving. Who is Irving? Who is Irving? Do you remember Irving in story? No, we were talking about Island of Man. There was Harry and Will and Jeff. No Irving. The internet is not trustworthy. Have you noticed? I think people do not always tell truth on the internet. This is conclusion Sister Bunity has come to. Irving taught the creature English, saying words out loud for Jeff to repeat parrot-like fashion. Jeff was grateful. In letter Irving wrote in 1934, Irving recounted Jeff saying, "For years I could understand all that was said. I tried to talk, but I could not until you taught me." With his newfound language skills, Jeff told Irving he was a ghost of a mongoose. He had been born in Delhi, India, on Monday, June 7th, 1852. Juvenile ghost. Talk to me when you were born 500 years ago. Then you can be a ghost. "And I shall hunt you with weird noises and clanking chains," Irving recalled Jeff declaring in the same 1937 interview. This is gratitude. A talking mongoose ghost is taught to speak English by a guy named Irving, and in payment for this generosity, he's going to hunt him with clinking chains and weird noises. You know what, Jeff? I get weird noises every time I go to bathroom. Not scared, Jeff. In his book, Jeff, The Strange Tale of an Extra Special Talking Mongoose, kind of gives away the whole thing, doesn't it? Like Sybil. Sybil was a story of a woman with like 9 different personalities. She was 9 different people inside of her, but they just call book Sybil. They don't give away Sybil, the person who was actually 9 different people. They just call Sybil. That is how you title a book, Jeff. In the book, librarian Christopher Joseph compares Jeff to a Victorian musical comedian. Mongoose are so very like Shecky Green, in my opinion. Jeff's fondness for playing pranks and making what this guy calls outspoken and irreverent comments, unquote, are a central part of Jeff's, quote, enduring appeal, unquote. You know what? I can talk about genitals too, but I don't get gig with book and stage show. Do I have to be mongoose, dead mongoose coming back and hunting people to get show? No wonder I have not made it to Hollywood yet. The talking mongoose, quote, repeatedly lampooned the Irvings. His name is Irving. How hard is it to lampoon him, eh? Comparing James Irving to a Dickens character, or saying his head resembled an onion. Okay, Jeff, if you want to read someone like they do on Drag Race, you got to up your game. Going, ha ha, Irving, you are like a Charles Dickens character. That is not a read, you know? It could be, what? Oh, am I Oliver Twist? I'm cute and about to inherit a lot of money? It's not a read, Jeff. Okay? Oh, I'm David Copperfield. I will be played by attractive young actor in 200 years. No, 140 years. It's not a read, Jeff. You want a read? Head looks like an onion? Better. How about this, Jeff? He lampoons Irving. So, Irving, you are librarian. You are so dull, even the bookworms don't want to bite you. That is a read, Jeff. Okay? That is it. I make joke about librarian and call it a read. Sister Bonity at top of game. So at top of game, only 3 people watching since start of show. But Jeff had a mean streak. When Jeff once spied Margaret. Who is Margaret? The writer. Is this AI? Is this AI robot who thinks we already know everyone? Name pops out of blue. We don't know who Margaret is. Who is Margaret? Jeff once spied Margaret disrobing before bed. He called out the name of each item of clothing or underclothing as she removed them. Sweetie, that is not scary. That is college. Okay? That is frat brother outside your dorm window waiting for panty raid. That's yeah, not scary. Wrong, misogyny, and, you know, rapey asshole, but scary, no. All this was odd enough, but things got even stranger when, in February 1937, we all know what is going on in Europe in 1937, it's not good. Hungarian-born psychoanalyst Nandor Fodor. Nandor. There is name of good old friend Nandor. Have not seen Nandor in so long. I think was in Middle East after he was drinking blood in Persia or Azerbaijan, I think. I wonder where Nandor got to. God, I sure hope he did not end up in America like me. Ha ha ha! Nandor is boring as fuck! Stay out! Oh, Nandor. Hope he's doing better. Hungarian-born psychoanalyst Nandor Fodor turned up on Isle of Man to investigate. Okay, so my friend Nandor, ancient vampire from Persia, hears about talking mongoose ghost on Isle of Man and decides to go, oh, because it's Isle of Man. So he thinks that there's food there for vampire. Fodor repeatedly interviewed the Irvings, particularly James Irving, compiling thorough account of Jeff, the talking mongoose, in his 1951 book, Haunted People, Story of the Poltergeist Down the Centuries. At least he did not give away that Jeff was a mongoose that talks. Yeah. Tempting. I see. So it is the internet, as the page top of the header advertising always gets in the way of content. You want the story, but the advertising always screws you over. How's that for scary Halloween experience? So I don't know what happened to Nandor. It does not say. But someone or other believed that living people could conjure real hauntings with only their thoughts. These psychic hauntings were powerful enough to throw objects or levitate tables. This is basis for poltergeist. It's basic poltergeist theory. What Fodor did was focus attention on the unconscious mind, explains Myrtle. Again, who is Myrtle? Did Nandor myrtle someone and they're dead, and so now this is Myrtle? AI. Instead of apparitions of the dead. At the time, Fodor's ideas were... Okay, get back to Jeff. Where is Jeff? Some scholars, such as English historian Kate Summerscale, new person, but they explain who she is, thank you very much, argue that Fodor needed a new case to back up his fringe theories. And that is where Jeff comes in. Stories about Jeff the talking mongoose had already been widely published in British newspapers, making the ghostly mammal a perfect subject for Fodor to investigate. Fodor arranged to lodge in the Irving's farmhouse for a week, hoping to interview Jeff personally. So he slept in the barn on a bed of hay. But in the middle of the night, the farmer's daughter came into the barn, and he said to the farmer's daughter, "Have you ever seen two melons?" No, I'm kidding. Odd vaudeville act. I put that in there because I am Sister Bunity, and I am a non-compoop. During his time on the Isle of Man, Fodor investigated scenes of Jeff's antics. There were scenes? Why don't you tell us about these scenes? Much more interesting than this guy with the small penis trying to be Sigmund Freud with a mongoose ghost. So he never got to actually meet the talking mongoose. Why are you wasting our time? AI, man. In the end, psychoanalyst wrote the mongoose a goodbye letter. Jeff could read too. In parentheses, just sticks it. Jeff could read too. I must say, Mr. I, your writing makes me question the credibility of your authorship. I think maybe you are poop. The letter said from Fodor, "I am very disappointed you did not speak to me," he wrote. "Nonetheless, I believe you to be very good and a generous mongoose. I brought you chocolate and biscuits." Dude, it is a mongoose. Chocolate is probably going to give him diarrhea or kill him like dog. Ultimately, Fodor concluded that Jeff had been projected from the bored mind of James Irving, an intelligent and educated man who had formerly enjoyed a more lively life on the British mainland. When Irving died, the stories of Jeff also faded. Well, there you go. The supernatural basically summed up by some guy being creative. So his whole investigation was adapted into a new film, Nandor, Fodor and the Talking Mongoose, starring British actor and comedian Simon Pegg as Fodor and author Neil Gaiman as the voice of Jeff. The whole thing stinks like rotting fish now. Unlike many films inspired by ghost stories, Nandor, Fodor and the Talking Mongoose is billed largely as a comedy. As we say in the undead community, no shit, Sherlock. It appears to be the end of the article. Despite all the bizarre stories surrounding Jeff, no concrete evidence has ever been uncovered about the mongoose's origins or source. Were the Irving suffering from a communal delusion? Which I feel sure you are if you are watching me. Was Jeff a manifestation of James Irving's unconscious mind? Was it all made up? Nobody knows. But that's part of the fun. What a lame-ass ending. Here is Sister Boonty's opinion of this story. Girl, bye. That was story number 4. In the evening with Sister Boonty. I am Sister Boonty. I am undead. Boo! 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 Did I cure your hiccups? No? Sucks for you. Let us go to the comments and see if anyone is asking questions or making comments about Halloween's ghost storytelling with Sister Boonty. I see that of the miraculous 4 people watching, there are 1 comment that was made probably about half hour ago. Okay, we got 75 more minutes of the show. I'm thirsty. No, wrong beverage. I have all of these books. Why do I have books? Because it is Halloween, and the name of the subject starts with the word boo! Book! Book! Becoming rarer and rarer in the United States, I'm just telling you. Save them all. You know what? Go to forest, find other group of people, walk in circles, reciting lines from book until memorized. That will preserve them when Trump people try to get rid of them. Who said derivative? I heard that. If the 4 of you are enjoying Sister Boonty's show, perhaps you would care to show your gratitude by making a donation of any size, $1, $5, $157.25 to the Los Angeles Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence. These are the colleagues of Sister Boonty, and they do many good things to take care of LGBT IAT, Two Spirit Q people in the county of Los Angeles. If you want to make the donation, you can take a screen capture right now of the QR code, and you can QR your way to website where you can make donation using PayPal, or go to the link tree for LASPI, Los Angeles Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence, or go to that is old URL, www.LASisters, plural, sisters, LA Sisters, .org, like organ, like Sister Bunity likes to feast upon human organs. A pancreas with a little garlic and shallot, aioli. So you got this? Donate if you like show, whatever amount seems appropriate to you, to the Los Angeles Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence. And the money will go to our charitable reserve, which means we have a part of our money that we set aside and do not touch until some group, some charity group comes to us and says, oh no, we are short of funding and must close our doors. Or, oh no, the gay people on the streets of Los Angeles are starving, we need to feed them. And we have the emergency fund that we can write check and give them an emergency grant. We use this for a church in Long Beach once. Their refrigerator kaput. They fed the homeless and poor people every Sunday with a food pantry. Part of the church was set aside a big room where they prepare food. And the people come and they get a grocery bag with food. Some prepared food that the volunteers have made, some like apples or canned goods, and they eat this. But the refrigerator had died. So they came to the sisters and asked for help, a donation to help them buy a new fridge. The sisters, big-hearted, bought a whole new fridge for them. One example. Another example, a children's camp run by and for LGBTQ youth asked for us to help to add to a scholarship for some urban LGBTQ person to go into the mountains and have an experience of the woods and summer and camp like rich people and middle class people kids do, but at camp for and by LGBT people, so they could be free from worrying about being accepted for who they are. Sisters gave enough money to sponsor an entire summer for one LGBTQ youth to leave Los Angeles and go to the mountains of this camp. Two examples of what the fund is for. And if you donate, I personally, okay, not me, because I am alive only for like another 3 hours, but on camera only for 75 more minutes. But the living person that looks like me but less scary will make sure that your money goes to that fund to help people. The video will be on YouTube on her channel, so you can always rewind to this somewhere around the 45 to 50 minute mark and find the QR code again. Now then, on with, I hate when the sticks show, on with the ghost stories. Whoever invented the fan has my undying love. And I do not say that just because I am undead. My love for this thing and the relief that it provides. What is going on with Los Angeles being fan weather in October 31st? Always every year at Halloween or a few days before, things turn cold. But it is hot. My undead intuition has told me that maybe this is the year that climate change has erased winter. It will be hot all year. Is this the year? Not so scary a ghost story. Sister Bodity, get back to the ghost stories. You think it's not scary? Do you know how much of the oceans are dying? Do you know how many species of animals are already dead? You want to be scared by climate change? Talk to a climate scientist. Talk to a biologist. Talk to any scientist. It will fucking scare you. I have family member who is climatologist. I am terrified so much that I have resigned myself to the fact that I may die by suffocating for lack of oxygen, because the seas, the oceans are becoming so acidic that these phytoplankton cannot live in it. And the phytoplankton, so many millions of them, they make most of our oxygen. It is not the forest in Brazil. They call them the lungs of the world because trees do breathe. But the vast majority of our breathable oxygen comes from phytoplankton who cannot live anymore because the water they live in is acid. Okay, is acidic. Fine. Fine point. But you make the fine point while you're gasping for air. No, I know it is not blood, but Sister Boonity cannot live by platelets alone. Sister Boonity has made nocino. It is Italian liqueur made from green walnuts, vanilla bean, lemon zest, spices that shall remain secret to anyone who is not Sister Boonity, steeped in a mason jar for 6 months. Then added a little simple sugar. Let's see if I can show you. There, you see the color from the light. Can you see? Is it working? It shines for just a moment there. There you go. There, nocino. You want to know what it tastes like? Fuck me with a banana. Whoo! It tastes like rubbing alcohol with eyedropper of flat Pepsi. I made this like, when did I make? I made this maybe 4 or 5 years ago. Why is stronger now than was 4 or 5 years ago? Alcohol evaporate, does not increase. Well, is there yeast living in here making more? Jesus Mary. Sorry, almost quoted religious people would have burst into flames. Okay, let me have some blood that will restore me. Holy crap. Not sister crap, just holy crap. Does anyone living and watching the show have a ghost story they want me to tell, or a fairy tale, a popular fairy tale that I would know, that I can turn into a ghost story with improvisation? We do this every year, and I'm happy to do it because it is funny. But type into the comment, my computer is over here while I keep looking. Type into the comments one fairy tale that you want me to twist into a horror story. In the meantime, Sister Boonity is going to do something Very terrifying. She's going to have some tortilla chips with hummus. Scary hummus. Hundreds of garbanzo beans were ground to death. Horrible fate, no? Scary tortilla chip! Ah! 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 Terrifying. Don't try this at home. I'm petrified. Oh, the horror. This is how you know Sister Bunity is not vampire. If I were vampire by rules, I would be projectile vomiting. Give Sister Bunity break. You had dinner. I had to do this. Oh, comments. John, thank you for homosexual ghost love. I love you too, John. Come close and let me kiss you on the neck. Just kidding. Like I said, I am not vampire. But I will give you fucking awesome hickey! Ha! The hickey of horror! Ha 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 ha! Boo! How do you know this is garbanzo beans and not the flesh of a victim? I could be eating a hummus being. That was a pun. Not a very good one. But I am undead. When do I have time to come up with wordplay? Terrifying hummus has now been eaten by Sister Bunity. Sister Bunity's undead digestive tract is not cooperating with Sister Bunity. More blood. Now back to horror story. You know, the YouTube channel is the channel of Sister You-Know-Who. I can't say her name. One night a year, she goes away, and I take her place. She is very famous for using a rubber chicken. Funny, very funny. What do you think Sister Bunity uses? Also a rubber chicken. But not the same chicken. Ha 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 ha! Boo! Ha 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 ha! It's dead. Get it? It's dead. It's shocked. Like doornail. Dead. Can't even eat the wings. It would just be buffalo sauce. Right. Let us turn to literature. Ah! Education! Very scary during this presidency. You want to terrify the people who are in our streets kidnapping people. Run after them with a book. Boo! Boo! It is literature and intelligence. Ah, run! You might catch it. This one is the scariest book owned by Sister Bunity. It has caused the death, misery, suffering, and torture of millions of people. That is how scary this book is. What is this book called? I don't know. I read Cyrillic. I don't read these letters. You tell me what it is called. Very scary book! Apologies to the people who are big fans of the book. I know. The book is not scary, horrible. It is the people and what they do, thinking that the book tells them that they are allowed to do it. Yes, it is always the human ego that causes the torture, the murder, the suffering, the misery. Not the book. The book is paper. It is little thin sheets of wood pulp and ink. But it does have ideas and words in it, and words are ideas. And the marriage of ideas with egos, and the egos that made the ideas, can be the source of horror. I will read to you one of the most terrifying and yet illuminating passages from this book. First, I check this, what people are writing to it. Happy Halloween to Dexton! Hello, you scary bastard, you! Oh, hello, sister from Nashville! Oh, there's a scary story. If you know, you know. If you don't know, shh, I said nothing. Oh, Johnny, I thank you so much. I do it every year. 5 people are watching. It's almost like I'm famous. But it beats going out to Santa Monica Boulevard where there are 500,000 other people, probably 100,000 of them in a costume, and you literally cannot cross the street. It takes 1 hour to cross the street because everyone wants to take your picture, which is all very good, but at the age of 561, it gets a little fatiguing. I'm going to read to you in Genesis. Sorry, no you. Genesis 38. It is a story about the family of Judah. And he has 2 sons. Sister Kamanawalaya will recognize the name of the oldest son because he must have been from Thailand, because his name is It is spelled E-R. The other son, everybody might recognize, it is Onan. Onan, the barbarian. But I'm not concerned so much with Onan. I'm concerned more with Judah and with Er's widow. You'll see. Horror story number 5. Now, Judah's wife gave birth to She conceived and bore a son, and he named him Then she conceived again and bore a son and named him Onan. And she bore still another son, and she named him Shelah. She named him Shelah. It is right. What is the Christian complaint against transgender people when right here it says that the wife of Judah gave birth to a son named Shelah? Genesis 38, verse number 5, Shelah. And it was at Chezib that she bore him. I hope they have a nice hospital at Chezib. Good maternity ward. Now, Judah took a wife for his firstborn, and her name was Tamar. Tamar. Is that not in a Star Trek Next Generation episode? Tamar and at Chezib. the walls crumble down. If you know, you know. But Judah's firstborn, was evil in the sight of the Lord, so the Lord took his life. Just like that, really. No trial, no jury of his peers. Just, oh, you know what? You, bitch, evil, girl, bye. Poof! Summary execution. I don't know. I'm Hindu. What do I know about this particular deity? But it seems a little bit controlling, if you ask me. But what do I know? My religion is Indra, very controlling. So, dead. Judah then says to second son Onan, go in to your brother's wife and perform your duty as brother-in-law to her, and raise up offspring for your brother. You have all heard of this law. You got to screw your brother's wife if your brother is kicked off, to give kids in the name of your brother, even though they're not his, they're yours. Logic in religious texts is not necessarily a priority. I love how they say, Onan, go into your brother's wife. It's such a, dude, just, do you mean like go in the tent to see her? Or do you mean like put your wiener in her hoo-ha? Go into your brother's wife. Okay, I will go into my brother's wife, get me some scuba gear, or at least a snorkel. My brother was huge. I know I can fit. Hey, it is not me. It's right here. Bible. And Onan knew that the offspring would not be his. So it came about that when he went into his brother's wife, he wasted his seed upon the ground in order not to give offspring to his brother. I don't know. You could have boned her. She gets pregnant, gives birth, and everybody is like, yes, that is Er's kids. Give them Er's inheritance. But Onan is like, by the way, it is you and me. You are my son, really. So let us hang out. I will buy you pizza, teach you how to ride a bike, and later take you to a brothel. Oh, don't think I'm being naughty with the brothel. You just wait till the second half of the story. Anyone here know this story? Raise your hand. Anyone? Just me? Comments? Holy Bible. Holy Bible. So, he jacks off on the ground. Now, he spilled his seed on the ground. It does not say that he masturbates in this book. Now, this is the crime of Onan that the Catholic Church and others have hit young boys over the head with for centuries. And in fact, it does not say that he whacked off, spanked the monkey, whooped the lizard, choked the chicken, rolled the tootsie. It does not say. It says he spilled the seed on the ground, meaning he screwed her, but when he orgasmed, he did not orgasm up in, but on the ground. I do not think that the objection is about masturbation. Henceforth, as an undead Dragnon, I absolve you of all guilt of masturbating, and I tell you, and the Bible says, you are free to choke your chicken and whop your lizard, especially if you are girl. If you are girl, nothing in here saying she diddled her button in vain is not in the book. You go and vibrate the poo out of your button until it pops off. Female masturbation, okie dokie. Male masturbation, okie dokie. Why? What is bad is because he screws but pulls out and squirts on the sand. But doing that is not what is bad. What is bad is your brother kicks off early, You got to make kids with his wife. You don't make kids with his wife, naughty you. So you could screw anybody else and squirt on the ground. Bible is okay. Only bad if with brother's widow. How often does that happen? Eh? More often than I think. Who said that? I heard that. Jeff? Was that you, Jeff, the mongoose? Back to story. So once again, we see people are claiming the book says what they want to think and they believe is right because their mind is always superior because the ego. When in fact, when we look at the text, when we actually come down to the texts that are made of brass, no, baby, no. You got to, if you're going to play Monopoly, you got to go by the rules on the back of the cover of the game. You can't just pass go on your way to jail and say, I know the card says do not pass go, do not collect $100, but look, I just passed go, so give it to me. No. The rule book says very clearly you can jack off, you can screw and squirt on the ground. You just can't do that with your brother's widow. Also, when did brothers stop screwing their older brother's widows? Clearly, you Christians are supposed to be doing that. Make with the screwing your brother's wife after he's dead. Christians, or you're going to be anti-biblical hypocrites going against the word of your deity. What if you're gay? Your older brother is straight, has wife, no kids, he dies, you're gay. Then what? You're obligated to screw wife? It's not going to work. It's not going to. Then God is going to kill you because God made you gay and unable to screw wife, but then then you can't screw wife and God kills you. God is setting up. God is like a member of Trump family or something. God is setting you up here. This God. May I recommend to you Kalima. She will treat you like gold and give you food and money if you are nice to people and generous and kind. But then she will take all the assholes in your life and she will cut their heads off and make them into a necklace. A recommendation for a deity to audition for yourself. Okay, back to Onan. So Onan's now dead because he displeased the sight of the Lord by not screwing the woman. Then Judah said to his daughter-in-law, Tamar, remain a widow in your father's house until my son, Shelah, grows up. For he thought, I am afraid that he too may die like his brothers. So Tamar went and lived in her father's house. Now, after a considerable time, Shua's daughter, who I don't know who Shua is, I did not read prior chapter. Shua's daughter, who is the wife of Judah, she died. So Judah does not have wife. So a whole male line of family is either dead or the wives are dead or something. So when the time of mourning was ended, Judah went up to his sheep herders at Timnah. Is a place. I think they have a Motel 6. He said, and his friend Hira the Adulamite. The Adulamite. Has anyone here been to Adula? And do they have mites? Because I will go to Adula and bring bug spray to get rid of the Adulamites. And it was told to Tamar, behold, your father-in-law is going up to Timnah to shear his sheep. If you are not agrarian, that does not mean he's putting on see-through stockings on the sheep. It means he is going to trim off of the hairs of the sheep to make cable knit sweaters for export to Ireland for fishermen. So he's up there. Now, it was told to Tamar, Tamar is the widow of the son. Behold, your father-in-law is going up to Timnah to shear his sheep. So So Tamar, the widow, she removed her widow's garments. I'm wearing widow's garments. I put on sequins to make a little flashier. It's from, don't worry though, it's not from real widow, it's from dead widow. So she took off her widow's garments and covered herself with a veil, and maybe she's a sister of perpetual indulgence. Oh my God, Sister Kaimani Wanilaya! Other sisters, look, we are in the Bible! This is fantastic. I like this story. So she put herself there in the veil and wrapped herself and sat in the gateway of a name. It doesn't say what name, it just says a name. That's a joke. It's spelled Enaim. It's funny if you're reading along. Which is one of the roads to Timnah, for she saw that Sheila had grown up, and she had not been given to Sheila as a wife. Insert joke about transgender lesbianism here. It's not worth my time. When Judah saw her, he thought she was a harlot. Oh my goodness. Sister harlot is in the Bible. The Bible really does like the sisters of perpetual indulgence. We are in here. You know what? Hang on, I show you. When I was looking up this chapter, I'm looking in index of Bible. That's D, F, H, M, getting closer. M, where are we? P, too far. P, too far. P, still too far. Oxgood, getting closer. Onan, right here, is right above oneness hyphen unity. So many sisters of perpetual indulgence are actually in the Bible. You see, Dodgers? You don't have to worry at all. Mr. Kershaw, we're right there with you. It's okay to like us now. I have migrated from Transylvania, somewhere east of Jalisco. So Sister Harlot is there. So Judah sees her and thinks she is Sister Harlot, for she had covered her face. Reference to the white makeup. And when Judah saw her, right, so he thinks she's a harlot. So he turned aside to her by the road and he said, "Here now, let me come in to you." We know what that means. It means he wanted to screw her pussy. It is very hard to make that word scary, is it not? Pussy. No. For he did not, no one should be scared of the pussy. The pussy gives life. For he did not know that she was his daughter-in-law. He thought she was Sister Harlot. And she said, "What will you give me that you may come in to me?" See, a price. Really is Sister Harlot. He said, "Therefore, I will send you a kid from the flock." Okay, see, the men in the Bible are the groomers. It is not us. The men are the groomers. I will send you a kid from the flock. She said, moreover, will you give a pledge until you send it? So like, I need collateral or I'm not getting kid. And he said, "What pledge shall I give you?" And she said, "Your seal and your cord and your staff that is in your hand." I think it is the shepherd's staff. I don't think he was grabbing his wiener yet. So he gave them to her and he went into her. And she conceived by him. That was fast. Then she arose and departed, and removed her veil and put on her widow's garments. When Judah sent the kid by his friend, the Adulamite, he has a friend who's a bug, to receive the pledge from the woman's hand. He's going to get back the collateral to give the baby goat or the child, depending on your interpretation. He did not find her because she's at home in the widow's garments. It was not a real person. And he asked the men of her place, saying, where is the temple prostitute who was by the road in Enam? But they said, there has been no temple prostitute here. Let me take a moment to help you to realize that the Holy Bible has normalized prostitution. Does not have problem with Judah using prostitute and paying her. Does not have problem with woman being temple prostitute. Even woman pretending to be temple prostitute. Oh, but it's a temple prostitute, so it must be better because it's temple. Whatever is still prostitute, has sex with men not married to for money. The Bible is okay with prostitution. Let that sink in and change the world. There has been no temple prostitute here. So he returned to Judah and he said, I did not find her. And furthermore, the men of the place said, there has been no temple prostitute here. Then Judah said, let her keep them, the things I gave her, lest we become a laughing stock. You fucked a prostitute and you lost your cord and your staff and your doohickey. After all, I sent this kid, but you did not find her. So, okay, I keep the kid here and groom it. Now, it was about 3 months later that Judah was informed. They just skip over the really juicy part. Like someone found out the tea. Someone found out that she had gone and pretended to be a prostitute and screwed her father-in-law. So what was that tea? I want that tea. Give me the bag. I'll boil it and heat it and steep it myself. Whatever. I need the tea there. He was informed, your daughter-in-law Tamar has played the harlot, and behold, she is also with child by harlotry. Then Judah said, bring her out and let her be burned. Okay, Mr. Hypocrite, you thought she was whore, screwed sex worker, even arranged payment, followed through on payment when you could have just buggered off. But now, someone you know wants to be doing the sex work, and now you're upset. I know, his laws, family, blah, blah, blah. But she says that the crime is not that she was daughter-in-law. He says the crime is harlotry. You can't have your cake and burn it at the stake too, buddy. It was while she was being brought out that she sent to her father-in-law, saying, I am with child by the man to whom these belong. Please examine and see whose signet ring and whose cords and whose staff are these. And Judah recognized them. And he said, she is more righteous than I, inasmuch as I did not give her to my transgendered child Sheila. And I'm going to say they, because it says he here, but I'm going to leave it wide open. And they did not have relations with her, Tamar, again. Of course not, because Sheila has a hypocritical, illogical, probably homophobic father, and is taking time to get her shit together as transgender person in whatever year Genesis occurred. Cut Sheila some slack. And it came about at the time that she was giving birth. And right, so Judah, and he says, okay. And he did not have relations with her again. Oh, how nice. Once he knew it was her, he did not screw her again. Oh, good for you, buddy. You get a piece of wet macaroni as a reward. And it came about at the time she was giving birth that, behold, there were twins in her womb. It goes on. She gives birth, and one sticks out a hand when he is about to come out, and the midwife puts a scarlet thread on it and says, this one came first with the scarlet thread, but then the kid draws his hand back in, and his brother pops out first instead. And the midwife, she says, what a breach you have made for yourself. So he was named Perez. Hello? The Bible, the Garden of Eden, all of Genesis happened in Mexico. So it is time that we go to tell ICE agents, how could you be evangelical Christians and the ICE agents? The Bible took place in Mexico. The son of son of Judah, was named Perez. P-E-R-E-Z. Perez. I did not write it. And afterward, his brother came out, who had the scarlet thread on his hand, and he was named Zerah. Zerah. I'm just going to say that he was also transgender or non-binary, because the Z is like the S. So we're just going to make that Sarah. Holy people. Terrifying to so many people. Was that a scary story? You know what was scary about it was not so much the story as it was all of the hypocrisy based on the one line, section, line 5 from that about Onan, right? Hello, X, that's 82. I am not Unity. She is away because it is Halloween. I am Sister Boonity. Ooh, scary dragon. Boo. We have, yes, exactly. That is Boonity, not Boonity. Boonity is a rapper from Rhode Island. Yo, what's up, Boonity? I am Sister Boonity. Boonity. From Transylvania. Boonity. Oh, good. I'm glad that you are frightened. We should all be frightened until we can get these people out of office and rebuild the East Wing. Am I on correctly? I feel like this thing, it's so hard to sleep for like 364 days and nights in a coffin with this thing on. Because as you know, the coffin tapers. And this does not taper. Show of hands, how many people know the difference between a coffin and a casket? If you know the difference between a coffin and a casket, write it into the messages on the tube of you. Why on earth on Halloween do they not call it Boo Tube? It is glaringly obvious. Boo Tube. Hello. Hello. Cell phone. Hello. The shape. Tom, you are correct. The difference is the shape. But, Tom, what are the two different shapes? Write it for me, Tom, or anyone. Write the shapes. I have to. Being undead, I am blind as a bat. Halloween joke. So I have to put on the reading glasses of a dead woman. Oh, Tim, that is very nice of you. And the sisters love to have your company. So please, if you would contact my CPA and sign over the majority shares of the company to me, I will come to the next board meeting and we get this bitch into ship shape, okay? New CEO, people, new board chair. Just sign them over. Yes, Tom! You have won a free droplet of crystallized blood. Come and get it. the casket is rectangular, but rounded like loaf of bread with the handles. The coffin is shaped like flat top, beveled to shoulders, and then diagonally beveled down to narrow ending at feet, flat bottom. That is coffin. I personally, if any of you happen to be around at the time, would like my heirs to put me in a coffin, not a casket. A simple wooden coffin, and then you can burn me, because if you don't burn me, my corpse will come back to be undead again every Halloween, except the part of me that kept things going will be really dead, and the stories will be totally uninteresting. Coffin, burn me. Tim, you were saying, haha, let's do it. Is that about signing over the company, or is that about burning me in a coffin? You know, with capitalism in the shape it is in, sort of the same thing. Ha ha ha! Capitalism jokes on Halloween! All right, we're getting ready for horror story number 6. Again, for those 6 of you watching, if you have a favorite well-known fairy tale that you would like Sister Boonity to corrupt and turn into a horror story, type the fairy tale into the BooTube message, and then perhaps I will turn it into a horrifying tale of gore and fear. Otherwise, I will bide my time with other of these scary objects that are called books. Books. There is one that I have not read, but I did purchase because it promises to be horrifying. It is this one here. How do I know it will be horrifying? Because it was written by Richard Scary. Terrifying person wrote book. Best storybook. Must be terrifying. Look, this is a ferocious, scary lion who has clearly eaten a farmer and is wearing his clothing like Big Bad Wolf in Red Riding Hood story. Very scary lion and scary book. All right, let us look at terrifying tales of horror in book. Right. I guess these are terrifying because they are airplanes and there is no one working at the FAA. They're doomed. Doomed airplanes because there's no one at the FAA in the control towers or nothing. Scary airport. Only one person in control tower. They're all going to die. True story. What's very scary because red communists have taken over children's toys and made them communist. So the communists will groom the children. Groom the children. See? The right wing was correct. The children are putting on furry costumes. They think they are animals and they are demanding to have a litter box in the classroom because the communists have groomed them and well, they're going to feed them a poisoned apple, like from Snow White. Snow White has the poisoned apple. Communist apple. The The queen, the evil queen in Snow White, was a communist. Like that woman that Lotte Lenya played in From Russia with Love, the James Bond movie. See, I told you it was a book of terror! Scary Halloween Native American vegetable! Ooh. This is great. I told you it was the scariest book ever. What else can we find that is scary? Oh, scary! Traffic accidents and chaos! People are being run over and losing limbs! Scary! Scary notes from the audience. The horror. I'm telling you, the horror. Dolly, just let me correct you. I am Sister Boonity. It is Halloween. I am not the orange one. I am the black and orange one. Ooh, scary. Scary dragon. Boo. Boo! You know what? I'm going to give the nocino another try. We'll see if I can get through another sip. Wish me luck. Don't wish me luck. I'm undead. It's bad for me. Awful. That was terrible. It did not choke me as badly as the first time, but it... and somehow I have got to get through this entire bottle of this swill. Don't feel bad. I made it myself. I brought it on myself. What else do we have here in Richard Scary? Oh, very, very scary. The most scary thing in the entire book. The destruction of the entire human species because of climate change. Ah! 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 Climate change. Global warming. Well, at least someone thought it was funny. He's laughing because he knows that you are going to get crabs. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Bad karma. Oh, here is what I was looking for. Yes. Right. No, not alphabet. Not alphabet. Yes, here. Where is goddamn? Moment, please. Stupid bunnies. So many bunnies. Why is there bunnies are not scary? I'm going to have to ask for money back. Here we are. Very scary because the FDA has relaxed all food regulations and the bear and the child will be getting salmonella and botulism. Scary food horror. No FDA. I don't see chicken. Well, there's eggs, so salmonella, and I don't see lettuce. But you know, also very scary. Traumatic family drama. The nuclear family is a minefield of psychological dangers. They will all require therapy for their PTSD. Years of therapy if they make it to adulthood at all. I'm telling you, it is a book of horrors by Richard Scary. But have I missed any of the horrors? I want to scare you half out of your wits. Terrifying. The greatest, richest, most famous, most successful empire in the entire world has crumbled into dust and is now a mere tourist attraction. Time is the scariest being of all. Why is time so scary? Because like I told you, if you are one of the two people here at the very beginning, time, it changes everything. The human mind wants to grab onto and keep everything as is. And human minds delude themselves that they can keep things like they believe them to be, want them to be. They think that the power of their focus and mind or money or who they think they are, what they think they can do, they think that they can negate time and the laws of physics, even economic laws, which are not that strong to begin with. Look at them now on the national scale, the international scale. So many of these people with these very strong minds, driven by a very strong ego, are futzing with things that are important to life, thinking that they can get and keep what they think they should have, what they think is best. It is not what you think it is. It's what you find out it is. That is general rule of life. It is not what you think it is. It's what you come to find out it is. Time will change it all. So the secret is not to become deluded about what you think should be or is, but to observe how things flow and to, as Ram Dass would say, go with the flow. Or like Alice in that 70s sitcom, go with the flow and then kiss her greets. I read notes. I put on dead woman's glasses to read notes. I swear, Sister Bunity got to go to the barber shop to get eyelashes cut. Yes, you are right, Tom. Yes, remember what is real and what is not real. And one of the things that is real is that change. Time will change everything. Even Soviet Union, such an ironclad dictatorship, autocracy, washed away in less than a year when its time was done. The Nazi Reich, they thought of themselves as an empire, a new empire. 4 years, maybe 4 years, they lasted as this when they started to invade other people. 5 years, 6. You know what lasted longer than that? A wart I have on the heel of my left foot has lasted 4 times as long as the Nazi empire. Tough luck, kiddo. Time is change. The wishing fable, the gold ass, and the cudgel in the sack. You don't remember me doing that from Grimm's story before. Johnny, you are correct. I have never done that story, and there is a reason why I have not done that story. The reason is I do not know that story, and this is the first time I have heard of that story. You are lost in the void of my ignorance. I have a Grimm's fairy tale book. It will take me 1, maybe 2 minutes to go get the book, and then I can read the story and insert nincompoopery in the reading of the story. But I do not know the story myself, so I can't twist it off the top of my head the way I can with the princess and the pee-pee. Make it up. Tom, you are a Sharpie. Why are we not married? Simple. Oh, I know why. Because I only exist 1 day a year. Well, That's a problem. Last thing from this scary book I will show you. Very scary for Americans especially. It is unpasteurized European cheese. Ah! Is it the one from Italy that has the worms in it? They're microbes. Oh no! What will happen? Do I eat the rind or not? Cheese. Very scary book by a very scary man. One thing that you, dear listeners, do not understand about being undead, though I am a walking corpse, a talking corpse, somehow still I sweat. And right now, I am like a swamp wrapped in a polyester sari. Next terrifying storybook. It is this book of horror called Sex and the Single Girl by Master of Horror Helen Gurley Brown. Ah! Who here knows who Helen Gurley Brown is? What she was most famous for? Write in the comments if you are just that old. Here is Helen Gurley Brown. Ah, look how terrifying she is. If this were an episode of The Monsters. Here's a chapter from Sex and the Single Girl, which I will read to you. The chapter is called The Availables, Men in Your Life. And this section is called The Don Juans. We might include them with the creepies, but I think they deserve a category of their own and a special rundown. No girl is really ready for marriage, I believe, until she has weathered the rigors of a romance with a Don Juan. It's part of her training. A married girl doesn't appeal to him. She has someone to run home to, and that spoils his fun. Reveling in the thought that she is alone, miserable, and missing him after he has gone. The two Don Juans I have known, I would stack up against anybody's pure DJ talent. They had two things in common: the unrequited need to make girls fall in love with them, and an all-consuming vanity which kept them chained to their haberdashers. I don't know that guys are chained to haberdashers in this day and age anymore. I'm just saying. Alan was a kind of sartorial genius who practically opened up Brooks Brothers on the West Coast. He wore their narrow shoulders and skinny pants when everybody else was padded to the gills. He even gave all his girls Brooks Brothers shirts for Christmas, a different color each year. Paul, whose fantastic looks could have popularized gunny sacks if he had favored them, was the helpless prey of an expensive tailor in Beverly Hills. I skip over the anecdotal part. A Don Juan is the only man who doesn't squirm when you have hysterics. He considers it a vote of confidence. A Don Juan may sleep with only one girl at a time, but he has a dozen fringe associations that keep you in purgatory. So a Don Juan, another word for this would be an asshole. And while making impassioned avowals of his fidelity, he manages to never let you forget how irresistible he is to other women. When he's late for a date, he explains it is because Daphne telephoned and he couldn't get her off the phone. Sister Daphne from the Berlin Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence is calling Don Juan. I had no idea she spoke Spanish. Daphne was all upset because of a fight with her mother. Who is Daphne? She's one of the sisters from Berlin. What do you mean? Helen Gurley Brown. Terrifying. Let's see if anyone got who knows who she was. No one has left a comment! Bummer. Helen Gurley Brown was the founder and publisher, the Hugh Hefner, if you will, of Cosmopolitan magazine in the 50s, 60s, 70s. Helen Gurley Brown! What an ironic name. Now, my last book with which I will torture you. It is not scary, it is torture. I will torture you by reading from Fox, who is in the socks. Boo. And the terrible part is, you do not get to see the pictures. Fox. Socks. Box. Knox. Okay, you have to know, it's a guy. His name is Knox. Knox in box. Fox in socks. Knox on Fox. In socks in box. Socks on Knox and Knox in box. Fox and socks on box on Knox. Look, sir, Mr. Knox, sir. Oh, no, sorry. Chicks with bricks, come. It is about feminine sexuality. Chicks with blocks come. Chicks with bricks and blocks and clocks come. Look, sir, Mr. Knox, sir. Let's do tricks with bricks and blocks, sir. Let's do tricks with chicks and clocks, sir. Speaking of clocks, remember, the horror is 24 hours away. You must turn your clock back an hour tomorrow night at 2 a.m. The horror is that it's going to be dark early. I hate it. Seasonal depression disorder, I don't know, I hate it. First, I'll make a quick trick brick stack. Then, I'll make a quick trick block stack. You can make a quick trick chick stack. You can make a quick trick clock stack. The truth has been said. And here's a new trick, Mr. Knox. Socks on chicks and chicks on fox. Fox on clocks and bricks on blocks. Bricks and blocks on Knox. On box. No lies detected. Now we come to ticks and talks, sir. Now try to say this, Mr. Knox. Clocks on fox tick, clocks on Knox talk. 6 sick bricks tick. 6 sick chicks talk. The chicks always like to talk, according to the misogynists who stereotype them. Please, sir, I don't like this trick, sir. My tongue isn't quick or slick, sir. I get all those ticks and clocks, sir, mixed up with the chicks and talks, sir. I can't do it, Mr. Fox, sir. I'm so sorry, Mr. Knox, sir. He's like the pinhead or the guy in Saw. He's not going to let you go. Here's the easy game to play. Here's an easy thing to say. New socks, 2 socks, whose socks, Sue's socks. She's a dominatrix in Lower Manhattan. Who sews whose socks? I think Sister K does the sewing. Sue sews Sue's socks. Who sees who sew whose new socks, sir? You see Sue sew Sue's new socks, sir. That's not easy, Mr. Fox, sir. Who comes? You can well imagine who comes, eh? Joe Crow comes. Slow Joe Crow comes. Who sews Crow's clothes? Sue sews Crow's clothes. Slow Joe Crow sews whose clothes? Sue's clothes. Sue sews socks of Fox in socks now. Slow Joe Crow sews Knox in box now. Sue sews rose on Slow Joe Crow's clothes. Fox sews hose on Slow Joe Crow's nose. Hose goes, rose grows, nose hose goes some, grows rose grows some. Diabolical. Mr. Fox, I hate this game, sir. This game makes my tongue quite lame, sir. Mr. Knox, oh, what a shame, sir. Like White Lotus, you must stay. I'm going to switch ahead. I won't read the whole book because I don't hate you. There's this chapter on goo, but I'm going to go ahead and read my favorite part. Do you know what my favorite part of Fox on Socks is? Can you guess? Type it in the comments. Yes, it does sound like a hex, does it not? A hex wrecks sex. Who wrecks sex? Hex wrecks sex. Sorry, I got caught up. What do you know? Anyone guess my favorite part? No, there's only 4 of you people here. Why would you guess? What do you know about tweetle beetles? Well, when tweetle beetles fight, it is called a tweetle beetle battle. And when they battle in a puddle, it is a tweetle beetle puddle battle. And when tweetle beetles battle with paddles in a puddle, they call it a tweetle beetle paddle battle. And when beetles battle beetles in a puddle paddle battle, and the beetle battle puddle is a puddle in a bottle, then they call this a tweedle beetle bottle puddle paddle battle muddle. And when beetles fight these battles in a bottle with their paddles, and the bottle's on a poodle, and the poodle's eating noodles, they call this a muddle puddle tweedle poodle beetle noodle bottle paddle battle. And that's where he stops the fox from going on. And he shoves the fox in the bottle with the beetles. And the beetles strip the flesh from the fox to survive before realizing that they could just crawl out of the neck of the bottle. And all that is left is an empty bottle with the skeleton of a small fox wearing a pair of unsewn socks. The end! Ha! This brings me to what could be the end of the broadcast. It is 9:58. It is not 10. I did not say that we would stop before 10. But if I'm to continue for one more story, I must have a fairy tale, horror version of the juniper tree, but it's kind of already a horror story. Yeah, well, I don't know that one either, Johnny. That is why you are a professor and I am a nincompoop who gets hired by professors, giving lecture on Wednesday at Loyola Marymount University. So if professors are hiring nincompoops, what does that say about the professor? Johnny, do you have another fairy tale that I might be more familiar with? Would it be a Hindu myth? Would it be a Grimm's fairy tale that is widely known? Would it be an Oscar Wilde fairy tale? Those are probably the best candidates. I await for your choice. Meanwhile, I will drink hot wax. Just kidding. The candle, she has gone out. Do you see? The light is gone in this one. It reflects the ring light, but the candlelight is gone. Whereas in this one, can you see? The flame still flickers. It is washed out by the ring light, but you can see a flickering. That is the candle flame. 1 down, 2 to go. It means that the hour grows late. The darkness wants to have control of the night, so that in the darkness, the veil evaporates. And we can see not only the spirits as in the ghosts, but in the dark you see the spirit. In the dark, you close down everything. And in that quiet, you focus your attention on one thing. And that one thing occupies the mind, so that in that otherwise silent space, forward comes the light of the one great spirit. And that is how we know truth. Rumpelstiltskin is indeed a fairy tale that I have not done before, and I will do now. It is not a very nice story, even in the Grimm's book. It is, one might say, grim. Once upon a time, there was a kingdom with a king and a queen, and they had a son, a prince. And the prince was coming of age, which for our understanding would be coming to marriage age. So he's like, what, 25? But no. This is a medieval story handed down through generations of oral tradition. So he's probably 13. Ha! And the girl in this story is the daughter of a farmhand. And the farmer has heard the proclamation sent out across the land that the prince is looking for a wife, a bride, who will become a princess, and one day the queen. And the farmer says, this is where my family gets ahead. There were all these princesses coming to the castle, and they were sleeping on mattresses, and they were all failing the test, and they were being executed by the queen. Crossover. I needed to execute somebody because it is supposed to be a horror story. So she executed them by putting leeches in their vaginas and up their noses and in their tear ducts until they were sucked dry. How's that for terrible? The farmer goes to the king and he says to the king, with his daughter by his side, this is my daughter. She's very beautiful with hair like spun gold. Funny you should say. She has all kinds of supernatural powers that can bring you good fortune. And the king says, oh yes, farmer? Like what? And the farmer is sweating bullets because he's really put his foot in it now. And he makes shit up and he says, you should have your son marry her because she can turn hay into gold. And the king says, can she really turn hay into gold? You don't say. And the farmer says, oh yeah, sure, king. Why don't you keep her overnight and just try that out? I hear a sheep calling me. And he skedaddles back to the farm, leaving his daughter there, thinking, well, that's the last I'll see of my daughter, me and my big mouth. And the king says, well, look, either my son's going to have a bride because you can spin straw into gold, or tomorrow I'm going to do horrible things to you. And they will be sexual in nature. But I don't know yet whether I will do them to you before I torture you and pull you apart, organ by organ, with a pair of red-hot iron pincers that I will put through your abdomen to pull out your organs, or after I have removed every part of your skin, just so that I can play with your nervous system and muscles while you are flayed alive. But one way or the other, it is not going to be good for you if this room filled with straw is not a room with a pile of gold by the time that the cock crows in the morning. Good night. And he shuts the door and locks it. And the girl, who is a farm girl, whose chief talent is milking cows and making cheese, and not very good cheese at that, sits on a stool by the spinning wheel and weeps her brains out because she knows in the morning she's going to be flayed alive or have her organs pulled out. Her crying is so loud that it travels out the window of the castle, and it is heard by the strangest little being. A very small man. One might not even suppose he was a Homo sapiens, but perhaps one of the fairy tale races, an elf, a dwarf, a gnome, some of the magical people, pops in the window with his craggy, wrinkled old face and his grey, stinky beard and a little red hat and a green tunic and green tights and little red shoes. And he's got enormous thumbs, but he's got claw-like fingernails. And he goes up to her, breathing heavily. It is not a savory situation. And he says, "Girl, why do you cry?" And the girl says, "Unpleasant little man, I am crying because I have to spin this straw into gold. It is impossible. I am a farm girl. I can barely turn milk into cheese. If I don't do it by morning, I will be tortured to death by the king." And the little man says, "Is that straw to gold? Derivative. Child's play. What will you give me if I spin it for you, little girl? What will you give me?" And the girl reaches up to the pearl necklace that her dead mother gave her on her 12th birthday, and she says, "Though this is the most precious thing I own, I will give it to you because my life is more precious." And sorry, shouldn't have said his name. That's kind of the point of the story. And the ugly little man says, "Oh, you've all heard that. Wake up and smell the coffee." And the untidy little man says to her, "Give me the necklace. I will spin the gold." The girl was smart, and she says, "Spin the gold, then I give you the necklace. What do you think, that I am a stupid person?" So the little man grabs a fistful of hay, and he sits at the spinning wheel, and damn your grandmother if he didn't feed the hay through his huge, enormous thumbs into the spindle, and threads of gold came out the other end and spooled on the floor, making these little circular piles of golden thread, and the whole thing was piled up high until the hay was gone, and there was gold everywhere. And just before the sun, when it was making the horizon that kind of poo-poo brown stain, because the sun was trying to come, he hopped out the window with the necklace. And the prince and the king came in to find one gasping with relief farmer's daughter, and the room filled with squiggles of golden wire. The king said, "Well, what this is very unexpected. Now I am richer." But the king was a bastard, an evil man, a sadist. And he said, "I'm not going to be denied my fun." He said, "Okay, come next door to this other room. I will pile it twice as high with straw, and you must fill that room of straw into gold twice as much by the time that the cock crows, or I'm going to boil the anal pear in vinegar, hot, like acid, and I'm going to intrude it into you to do its purposes by turning the screw so that the leaves of the red-hot iron anal pear separate and open like a flower, and then I have a strong man pull it out all at once." So the girl, who had been to an anal pear execution once and knew how absolutely bloody messy it is and excruciating death, was closed and locked in the room and wept and wept. She thought, the man is gone, the little funny man. My necklace is gone. Now all this straw is twice as much. Even if he were here, it could not be done. It could not be done. I am dead. And from the window came a voice saying, "Could not be done. What kind of amateur do you think I am?" And the funny little man with the red hat and the green tunic and the green tights and the red shoes and the craggy face and the smelly beard hopped through the window again, and he said, "Push, go, aside." What do you think I am? Do you think I cannot? Well, this is child's play. I have done so many greater things than this. What will you give me now to spin this? And the girl said, I have only one thing that my father gave me. When I was born, my grandfather had given to him a golden watch, and he gave to me, when I was born, this golden watch. I have it now. It is my most precious gift from my father ever, but my life is more precious, and I will part with it if you do this for me. So the little man grabbed the hay, and with the enormous thumbs of magic, he again spun filled the room with the golden threads and yarns of varying lengths and thicknesses, because he thought, I don't know, maybe they want to make a handkerchief so thin, or maybe they're going to make a cable knit sweater, like that farmer with the goat did in the earlier story. So maybe thicker. But he spun the entire thing. And just as the sun was beginning to turn the color from black to indigo in the sky on the horizon, he took the watch and he hopped out the window. And the girl dried her face, which was wet with tears and mucus from the weeping. The king and the prince came in, and the prince was getting to like this girl. He's kind of plucky, you know. My father wants to rape her and kill her, and she keeps like, fuck you, back at you, kiddo. Because the prince was okay. He was a nice kid. He knew his father was a bastard. He was kind of hoping that he would find someone to marry so he could either flee the kingdom or have a partner to, you know, find a way to get him off the throne, the king. So the father is pissed off. He says, fine, satisfied. Yes, fine. One last test. This one you will not pass. This one you will not pass, because I have another room filled with the straw. But he tricked her. He took her to the ballroom, which, as you know, was 90,000 square feet big. Now, the king's normal palace was only 55,000 square feet big. And the king had built this ballroom because he was an asshole to dwarf the palace that his grandfather had built, just to say, my dick is bigger than yours, grandfather. Look what I built. And he had filled this 90,000 square foot ballroom with straw, but not all of it. In the corner, he had put a rack with chains and hand and ankle cuffs. He had put the Ripper, which is a bed with saws instead of strings or mattress, with handles on either end, and the executioners on either end pull the saws. 6 of them pull the 3 saws in opposite directions, and you are forced to lie on this, and they shred your body. And next to this, he had put the suffocator, which is a scaffolding framework that stretches your legs and arms wide and suspends you in the air like the letter X. And from the top, they screw down a rod with a bulb on the end of red hot iron. And from the bottom, they have another rod going up, and they screw that up with another iron bulb of red hot iron, and the 2 bulbs, and they chain, and they pull your hair back, and they tie it to your ankles so that your head is up and your spread eagle, and one bulb goes in your anus and the other bulb goes down your throat, and they keep going until the red hot iron bulbs meet in the middle of your body. Then they put you on the saw. Then they put you on the rack. Then they put you in the last thing in the room, an iron cauldron filled with hydrochloric acid and wood piled underneath ready to be lit, so that you would be boiled in acid once that you've gone through all of the other 3 tortures, so that nothing will be left of you and no one will remember you. Nobody, just a pool of sludge that your father can bury if he can find it. Plus, 89.5 thousand square feet of straw and a spinning wheel. The prince was crying this time because he knew it was not going to go well. And he wanted this woman for a wife. She had done these amazing things. She'd stood up to his father. But the father wanted to kill a bitch. He wanted to see an innocent, a blonde, fair skin. Depends who you are and where you are. He wanted to see a full headed of hair, ebony skinned beauty. He wanted to see a jet black haired, caramel skinned, golden skinned beauty, customized to your tastes and your location and ethnicity. Ruined. He loved to see beauty torn apart because what his parents had done to him as a child had made him a mean son of a bitch. So he locks her in the room. They go away for the night. The king laughs himself to sleep, thinking of what fun he's going to have, taking this woman apart, tit by tit, flesh by flesh, pulling out the bones, watching the bones be the last thing to dissolve in the acid, getting to see the organs cut into pieces by the saw table. And the girl is imagining the same thing. And she is not just crying, she is screaming. Because she sees them right there. And they've chained her to the wall so she can get the hay and the wheel. But she can't get to the objects. The chain does not reach. It reaches everything but that. She's screaming. When, in through a high slit window at the top of the wall, hops the little man with the red hat and the green tunic and the green tights and the red shoes and the craggy face and the stink-ass beard. If you've ever had fish sauce in a Thai or a Chinese restaurant, you know the funk. And he says, "Oh, little girl, you don't have much faith in me, do you? You're so scared. These things, you're scared they're going to do things to you. They'll do something to someone, I guarantee you that. But it won't be you if you can give me something to spin this straw into gold for you. If you can't give me something, then I am sorry, but you're going to get red-hot pears through your body and your organs sawed into pieces and then stretched into two parts. There'll be two of you, but not for long because you'll be boiled in the acid. Do you have anything left to give me?" What is it with the town and these people? He thought she didn't have anything. He wanted to see it happen. Jesus Christ, these people are awful. The girl, however, the prince was not wrong about her. He was very clever. And she said, the only thing I have, the only thing that I can do is that if I survive, I know I can make you cheese. Lifetime supply of cheese. I offer this. And the little man laughed at her and said, "No, what do you think I have to do with cheese? I eat butterfly poop. I'm a magical creature. Cheese. You don't even make it very well." Not stopping to think why he knew that, she said, "There's nothing else I can do, nothing else I can make. Say that this works, and I do marry the prince. I will have gold." "No, I want something more important than gold. You gave me a gold watch already." "I will have jewels." No, you gave me already pearls. I want something more important." There's nothing more important. The one thing more important than all of these is life. And the little man said, "Ah, now you are getting somewhere." And she said, "A life?" He said, "Your first child. You give me your first child. You can have all the children you want. The first one is mine. I save you by spinning this into gold." She said, "No." She said, "No, it's my child. No, why would I do that?" They sat there together in silence, and time went on, and she could hear the nightingale, which sings kind of late into the night. And she knew time was getting away. And she looked at the giant room of straw. I mean, really, it was like a McDonald's, like if it was made out of straw. And she said, all right, all right, all right. I can't go on the pears I can do. The saw I can't. Save me. And the little man sat at the spinning wheel, and with his thumbs, he took the straw faster than ever. A blur. You couldn't see the straw individually. He was working so fast. And out the other end of the spindle and the spinning wheel came spools and spools of gold and thread. Gold, 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 piled, 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 until the room, the 90,000 square feet of the ballroom were filled to the ceiling with golden thread. And the man said, remember, firstborn son, I will come when he is born. Don't forget. Jumps out the window. The cock crows just as his little red boot disappears from sight. The girl is completely fatigued, collapsed on the floor with fatigue. And the king and the prince come in, and they see the gold. And the king swears, and he says, no, no, I will. And the son stops him. And the son, who has brought the vizier and the courtiers and the prime minister behind, he says, come on in, everybody. No, you saw, there was the final bargain. You heard the king. This will now be my bride. And this gold will now be put in the treasury. Put these torture implements down into the dungeons under the castle. I don't want to ever see them again. The king said, hey, wait, those are mine. They're mine. I will tell you where to put them. And the prince looked at him and he said, Daddy, do you familiar with the French expression coup d'etat? If you don't want me to use them, put them away now. So the king did this, and they put them away. And the prince married the princess, but she was not a princess for long because the king died soon. I don't know, maybe he drank something funny or something, but the bastard kicked off about a month after the wedding. And the prince and the new princess, or the king and the new king and the queen, who had been the farmer's daughter, were very happy. They were a good match. The farmer came and became the royal farmer, and he raised the royal cattle and the royal sheep. He fucked the royal goats. And all was well. But you know what happens to people who are happy with each other? They screw. And you know what happens when you screw, when you are 14 and 13 and the year is 1129 in Europe. You get pregnant. And sure enough, 9 months later, I almost said 11 months later, really long pregnancy. 9 months later, the queen gave birth to 2 children. One was a glowing, blonde, beautiful blonde boy. And the other was a demon baby. It is like the king's spirit had been reincarnated into a grotesque beast with sharp-fanged teeth. Like her association with the funny man who was part of the magical folk had somehow irradiated into her womb and changed the DNA of this child. So there were 2. One was a beast and one was a beautiful baby. Well, the night that they were born, and they were put into 2 separate beds, and the woman, the queen, was rocking the beds and singing a lullaby over the screeching of the beast-like baby. Came Rumpelstiltskin. Came the funny little man. And he hopped in through the window of the nursery and he said, Your Majesty, congratulations. I've come to claim your firstborn. And the queen pointed at the bassinet with the beast and said, This one was born first. Take him away, he is yours. But the funny little man said, No, no, no. I was watching the pretty baby with all of the fat, the juicy, fat, beautiful baby that will make such a tasty meal. He was your firstborn. And he scooped him up. And the queen wept her brains out, saying, please, have you no heart? Give me some way to get my son back. Release me from this deal. Surely you are one of the fairy folk. I invoke the law of the forest of which I am now queen. You must give me a bargain, a way to get back my child, or I will surround the forest with iron. Because fairies hate iron. And the little man said, all right. The deal is this. You have 3 days to guess my name. You shut up. I know I said it. You shut up. You don't know it. You have 3. She doesn't know it. That's important. You have 3 days to guess my name. You don't guess my name, the baby is mine. Maybe I will serve him with goat cheese and maybe a remoulade. And he hops out the window with the baby. And the queen brings out all of her knights, all of her royal messengers, all of the knight squires, every page boys, everyone. And she says, you must scour the kingdom to find the little man. He's a little man no bigger than my knee, with a red cap, a green tunic, green hose, and red shoes, craggy face, and a stinky beard. He will have my baby, and you must find out his name. You can try to capture him. I don't think you will. He's magic. But you find his name is the deal. And the knights and the squires and the page boys, they fanned out across the kingdom. And that night they came back and they said, your majesty, here are all the names. And the vizier wrote them all down. And that evening, for the first day, in came the little man to the courtroom. And he bowed to the king and he bowed to the queen. He said, have you guessed my name? And the queen read this list compiled by all of her servants. Stephen, Joseph, Mark, Joanne, Gwendolyn, Jehoshaphat, they, them, Pat. Nothing. They went on for hours, and just before midnight, the little man said, no, time is up. Tomorrow is day 2. Goodbye. The queen again said, get my falconers. Maybe my falconers the falcons will see something. Ride out on the griffins. Maybe you will see something. They scoured the whole kingdom. They compiled all the names. And that night, again, they put it on a list. And when the little man came back, the queen read all of the names they had gathered. Eggbont, Crumpmont, Enid, Squigglebum, Noodle Thighs, Thought, Kim Kardashian. Nothing. The man said, one day more to try. And he left. And the queen said, I don't know what to do. And all of her servants said, no, we'll go again. We'll look for more. And at the end of the day, they all come back and they came with names. And the queen looked at the names. He said, we've had these names. We know these names. These are the usual names. But one little page boy who was 8 years old, who had been a farm boy himself, he came, he said, everyone went where there are people with names. I thought I will go where there are no people. Maybe I learned something. I went deep into the forest, and there I came upon a house. And at the house I saw, it was a very small house. There was a man outside, and he was dancing around a baby, and he was singing some song about, I am a moil, I'll make a bris, I will remove the foreskin. No, that sounds anti-Semitic. Sister Bunity withdraws the first part of that poem, the song that I was making up. I was trying to rhyme foreskin with Rumpelstiltskin. It was a bad idea. I regret it. Foreskin and Rumpelstiltskin. Oy. After this, I'm going to take a Tylenol just to flout the government. He's dancing around the baby, and he was singing, "No one knows me, no next of kin. No one guesses my name, Rumpelstiltskin." It's a feeble rhyme, but I had to do something off the top of my head, which, as I told you, is undead. So I'm not growing new brain cells, right? You get it. So the queen said, "Rumpelstiltskin," that's what he said. And the page boy said, "That is the name verbatim. I repeated it when I heard it all the way back here so I wouldn't forget it. Rumpel, stilt, skin." The queen said, "Thank you. Let us see if this works." The little man came into the throne room. He bowed low and pretentiously to the king, who was sweating bullets because he wanted his child back too. And he bowed to the queen, but this is about female intelligence, not male intelligence. They have their own stories. And he bowed low and pretentiously to the queen. And he said, "What is my name, your majesty?" And the queen said, "Is perhaps your name Veronica?" And the little man said, "I believe you have asked me that name already." "No." And the queen said, "Is your name perhaps Elizabeth?" And he said, "You are playing gender games with me now. And not only that, but on the first day, and you asked me Elizabeth already. No, that is not my name. Is that all you've got? Because I've got a baby I have to get back to. These things have to marinate for at least overnight." And the queen said, "One more guess. I don't know. This does not seem likely. But is your goddamn name Rumpelstiltskin?" And the man's eyes blazed with fire, and he gnashed his teeth so hard they started to crack, and he stamped around on the palace floor. "Someone told you! Someone told you! Someone has cheated! Someone has cheated!" And he stamped his feet so hard that the wooden floor of the throne room cracked, and he fell down into the dungeon. And in the dungeon, the queen had her executioner run very quickly to trap the little man. And do you know what happened then? First of all, she sent the 8-year-old page boy with a knight to go get the baby from the forest. And when the queen was sure the baby was safe again, the king and the queen ordered the executioner to proceed. And the little magic man was chained with iron, so he could not escape, as the fairy folk can't use their magic against iron. Spread eagle on a framework, and red-hot iron bulbs were screwed to the end of rods, which were then turned so that the rods went up his ass and down his throat and burned everything on their way to meet in the middle: his esophagus, his colon, his stomach. His lungs were singed. Then they took them out and uncuffed him and strapped him to the saw table. And then 6 men, the executioner and 5 helpers, pulled the saws in different directions. And they cut through the skin of the little man, the leathery skin. And they started to mince his organs. Then they took what was left, held together only by the bones and ligaments, and they put it on the rack, and the iron cuffs on the ankles and on the wrists were fastened, and an executioner at one end and his assistant at the other turned the handles that pulled the chains that stretched the body of the little man until it ripped into 2 pieces. Then the executioner took the pieces and plopped them into the vat of acid, which was heated by a very rosy fire underneath the cauldron, until the boiling liquid had boiled away everything except the skull. The queen had the executioner shovel the skull out of the boiling vat of acid, And when she saw that the man was no more, she said, melt it. And he put the skull back in. Well, the child grew up to be a neurotic king and quite mad because his parents died when he was young. And they had good deaths. They fought in a war, in a battle, saving the kingdom, but they were both killed, run through with arrows and swords. And the young man attained the throne at somewhere like 10 years old, but he was neurotic because he did not have his parents to guide him and make him strong. But he did have a ghost of a bastard grandfather haunting him and whispering horrible things into his ears at night. And he could hear the wailing and the screaming of one of the fairy folk from the dungeons below every day and night. And in this haunted castle, this mad king ruled, and ruled so terribly that by the time he died at the age of 30, miserable and eating insects, no one would work for him. They all fled and left him in the castle. By the time he died, eating his insects, no one was left in the kingdom but the ghosts. And the whole place, the castle especially, became the stuff of stories told in surrounding kingdoms by undead, witchy drag nuns. Boo. And that, my dear friends, brings us to the conclusion of Halloween 2025. Before I go, I'll read your comments and answer you back if you ask questions or say things. So if you want to ask questions or say something, do so now so I can answer you before I go. And again, if you like the stories, you had fun with Sister Bunity, show your gratitude. In Hinduism, we call it dakshina. You get wisdom from the master, you give a gift to the master, money or food or what, clothing, something, to acknowledge the exchange of gifts. You can give dakshina, you can give your generosity and your thanks to the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence at the website lasisters.org, O-R-G. Or freeze frame, come back and stop the video when it's over. It will be posted on Facebook, on YouTube afterwards. And use the QR code here. It's a little shiny. Let me see if I can get it. It's not shiny. Sort of. Anyway, freeze and get QR code. It will take you to our link tree and you can use PayPal and make donation. Or just go to lasisters.org and click on the donate menu item. It takes you to donation page and you get to see very cute little video of sisters saying thank you. I read. What do you mean I'm so good at performing on the spot? I'm grateful for the compliment, Tom, but I'm not on a spot. I'm on a fake wood vinyl flooring is what I am on. Covered in footprints and flakes of orange glitter. That is what I am on. Johnny has retracted a message. Man of mystery. I am so shocked that you come every Halloween. What would you live in the town of the vultures? Why would you need me to have Halloween? But I am so grateful because I know you are a man of talent and culture. Your words mean a lot to me. All right then, those are the comments and they are very nice. I started tonight's live stream by telling you that time is invented by humans. Time, in reality, that which is time, the essence of what makes time, is, as everything is, a sphere whose circumference is nowhere and whose center is everywhere. With this being the true nature of time, How can we say that it is late, or it is over, or it is beginning, when it is everything all at once? Say, that makes a good movie title. And yet, I am undead, but not transcending. So I am still governed by the laws of time as invented by human beings. And I am subject to change. For example, now I am on YouTube talking to you. But in a moment, I will be gone, and all you will have to spend time with will be this recording. But don't worry yourself, because I will be back next year. And in the meantime, I am leaving a cast of characters who I am sure will entertain you. That orange woman, that nun with the rubber chickens, that horrible thing that she has in her apartment that does not know how to do its makeup. Sister Pickle, who knows? The color green may make an appearance in the coming year. We don't know. Anything could happen, especially when the veil is so very thin. Okay, it's not that thin. I wore the opaque one. If this was the sheer one, then it would be a metaphor. This one is not a metaphor. It's just a piece of rayon. Rayon is very spooky. Rayon! They kill the trees and turn their flesh into a chemical plastic, which they make into fibers and turn into clothing. Ha 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 ha! That's horrifying if you are a tree. Oh, 10:41. I have to get some dinner before it's time to ride against the moon on my broomstick. Good night, my friends. I wish you a very heartfelt Dia de los Muertos. May you remember, honor, and love all of your family and friends who are dead like me. I will say hello to them for you. Also, if you're in the Los Angeles area, the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence are doing a sainting of 3 community members who have given exceptional, hard-working service to the community. Tomorrow night at, I think it's either 6 p.m. or 7 p.m. at Highways Performance Space. Better say 6 p.m. Highways Performance Space in Santa Monica. Go see them. The other orange one will be there tomorrow. I will not be. As soon as the cock crows, I'm going to go and eat a baby. Good night, spooky friends. Good night. How the hell do you turn this thing off? Oh, it's probably that thing that says end stream. End stream? Wouldn't that be the ocean? Is that a spiritual metaphor? All streams lead to the ocean. It's about becoming one with the transcendent truth. Or it's just a button. Who is to say? Oh, that was my perfect ending. That was my exit line. You've ruined it by giving me a second button. There's 2 buttons. Can you believe that? I'm like the Rodney Dangerfield of the undead.